A very wonderful good afternoon to you and welcome to the news at noon on Badeggi Radio 90.1 FM stereo, read by Sani Abdullah. Today Thursday 23rd July 2026, equivalent to 8 Safar 1448 after Hijrah. Security is everybody's business. Be vigilant and report any suspicious movement of persons to the security agencies. Now the headlines. Nigeria Governors Forum unveils health security scorecard in preparedness for infectious diseases outbreak. National Inland Waterways Authority to improve safety and reduce boat accident. And on the foreign scene, Russia warns United States against selling arms to Ukraine. And on the news in full. National Inland Waterways Authority and Nigeria Safety Investigation Bureau have agreed to jointly improve safety and reduce boat accidents across the country's inland waterways. The acting managing director of NIWA, Malam Umar Yusuf Girey, gave the assurance when he received the Director General of NSIB, Captain Alex Sabundu Bade, on a courtesy visit at the NIWA headquarters in Lokoja, Kogi State. Girey noted that the partnership would focus on collaboration, information sharing and joint operations to tackle the persistent challenge of boat mishaps. And according to him, effective cooperation among relevant stakeholders is critical to ensuring safer navigation and protection of lives and property on Nigeria's waterways. House of Representatives have urged the federal government to adopt a strategic national drone industrialization policy to strengthen Nigeria's defense manufacturing capacity and reduce the country's dependence on imported unmanned aerial vehicles. The resolution followed the adoption of a motion sponsored by Ademorin Kuye during plenary. Presenting the motion, Kuye said Nigeria continued to face persistent and evolving security threats including terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, insurgency and pipeline vandalism, which had placed sustained pressure on the operational capacity of the armed forces and other security agencies. He said drones had become indispensable tools in modern warfare, intelligence gathering, surveillance and counter-insurgency operations, noting that non-state armed groups were increasingly deploying the technology against Nigerian troops. Senators raised serious concerns about the intentions of some foreign financial donations entering the country through non-governmental organizations and civil society organizations. Consequently, it has moved to regulate the operations of donors and donor agencies using such organizations as front to send funds into the country for various purposes. A bill seeking to regulate the operations of foreign aid donors and establish a national database for such donations passed its second reading on the floor of the Senate. Titled A Bill for an Act to Provide for the Regulation, Coordination, Transparency and Disclosure of Foreign Aids, Grants and Donations in the Federal Republic of Nigeria 2026, the proposed legislation was sponsored by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Public Accounts, Ibrahim Dankwambo. The bill aims to strengthen the regulation, coordination and accountability of foreign aid in Nigeria. Minister of Power Joseph Tegbe has called on the Nigeria Police Force to intensify its crackdown on energy thieves and vandals targeting critical power installations across the country. The minister made the call during a courtesy visit to the Inspector General of Police Olatunji Disu at the force headquarters in Abuja, where both leaderships agreed on stronger tactical collaboration to protect the national grid. Speaking on the urgent need to secure energy infrastructure, Tegbe, according to a statement by the police on Wednesday, noted that widespread energy theft and the continuous destruction of electrical equipment remain major obstacles to reliable power supply nationwide. Former Lagos State Governor and Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, says he prefers to advise President Bola Tinubu privately rather than criticize his administration on television. Fashola disclosed this during an interview where he was asked why he avoided commenting publicly on the president's performance. The president reached out to him directly, seeking his input on areas requiring improvement ahead of the 2027 general elections. He explained that he had chosen to preserve the private channel of communication rather than air his views on air. The former minister said he had direct access to the president and had already advised him on a few issues. He added that keeping the line of communication open was more important than public commentary. Nigeria's Governors Forum, in collaboration with the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the World Bank, and Resolve to Save Lives in Nigeria, has unveiled a health security scorecard to strengthen the monitoring of states' preparedness for infectious disease outbreaks and other public health emergencies. The scorecard was unveiled during a health security scorecard validation workshop in Abuja, where health experts and development partners described the initiative as a critical tool for accessing gaps in state-level health security systems and driving evidence-based interventions. Speaking at the workshop, the executive director of the program partnership at the NGF Secretariat, Dr. Ahmed Abdul Wahab, said the initiative was designed to establish a unified framework for evaluating health security governance across the 36 states of the Federation. And you are listening to the news at noon on Badeggi Radio, broadcast on 90.1 FM Minna. Remember that you can download Badeggi Radio's app on Play Store and watch more. The news continues in a jiffy.
Breaking news, national news, local news, sport news, foreign news, and business news. Everything newsworthy lives here on your credible and reliable news source, Badeggi 90.1 FM.
News. Welcome back from that short break, and I'm back to the news. Political strategist Baba Yusuf has said that the United States of America cannot continue to fight Nigeria's insecurity issues. Speaking during an interview on television program, Yusuf emphasized the need to stand as a sovereign nation and do what is necessary to combat terrorism and banditry. According to him, the U.S. President Donald Trump praising President Bola Tinubu's leadership against terrorism is good optics for the Nigerian leader. Kaduna State High Court has reserved 24th of September to rule on an application by former Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasir El-Rufai seeking the recusal of the trial judge in his ongoing corruption case. At Wednesday's proceedings, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) opposed the application, arguing that it amounts to an abuse of court process. In an interview with journalists shortly after the court session, the lead prosecuting counsel Ayodeji Adelupe San said that the application is lacking in merit and is intended to delay the trial. Adelupe further urged the court to dismiss the application, maintaining that the issues raised by the defense do not justify the trial judge's withdrawal from the case. On his part, the defense counsel Paul Erokuru San justified the application, noting that it was based on concerns about the likelihood of bias during the substantive trial. After hearing arguments from both parties, the trial judge, Justice Darius Kobo, adjourned the matter to 24th September 2026 for ruling on the application. Kano State Governor Abu Yusuf has declared that the state is ready for the establishment of state police, saying it has the institutional capacity, manpower, and political will to successfully operate the security outfit once the required constitutional framework is in place. Yusuf made the declaration while inaugurating the Inter-Agencies Task Force on Drug Abuse and Trafficking at the Government House, Kano. The governor's position was contained in a statement issued by his spokesperson Sunusi Baturi Dawakintofa. Speaking at the event, Yusuf said state police would complement rather than replace the Nigerian police force in addressing the country's security challenges. Controller General of the Federal Fire Service, Olumode Samuel Adeyemi, has warned that the service will never demand for money to fight fire during fire disaster. The FFS boss, however, asked the general public to report any personnel demanding for money before, during, or after firefighting to the service. In an interview with newsmen in Abuja, the FFS boss threatened to sanction any personnel cut in such act, saying the situation at the head of that station, the state controller of where such a thing happened will definitely be penalized for it. Adeyemi was responding to a recent viral video emanating from River State where such allegations were made, explaining that there is no presence of federal fire service in the said location. And away from that local scene, now we go on to some business news. Federal government has unveiled a new loan scheme that will provide eligible young entrepreneurs with between 200,000 naira and 2 million naira to start, sustain and expand their businesses as part of efforts to improve access to finance and stimulate economic growth. The initiative, known as Youth Credit for Entrepreneurs, was launched in Abuja by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Taiwo Oyedele. The program, implemented by the Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation, is expected to benefit more than 500,000 young entrepreneurs across the country. And speaking at the launch, Oyedele said the scheme was designed to address the financing challenges faced by many young business owners who are unable to access conventional bank loans due to lack of collateral, audited financial records, or formal business registration. And away from the business news, now we move lastly on to the foreign scene. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov warned Washington against making unacceptable arms delivery to Ukraine during a meeting with U.S. counterpart Marco Rubio in Manila, Moscow said. Lavrov told the U.S. Secretary of State it was unacceptable to continue supplying weapons to the Kiev regime, the Russian Foreign Ministry said in a statement. In their meeting held on the sidelines of a summit of Southeast Asian foreign ministers, Moscow's top diplomats also condemned what he called a destabilizing policy by European countries which are still seeking to inflict a strategic defeat on Russia. The first sit-down between Lavrov and Rubio since September 2025 comes as Washington's focus has switched from mediating in Ukraine to dealing with war in the Middle East. And to end the news here, a recap of the top stories once again. In the beginning of the news here, that the National Inland Waterways Authority and Nigeria Safety Investigation Bureau have agreed to jointly improve safety and reduce boat accidents across the country's inland waterways. You also heard that the Nigerian Governors Forum, in collaboration with the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the World Bank, and Resolve to Save Lives Nigeria, has unveiled a health security scorecard to strengthen the monitoring of states' preparedness for infectious disease outbreaks and other public health emergencies. And finally, in the foreign scene, here that Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov warned Washington against making unacceptable arms deliveries to Ukraine during a meeting with U.S. counterparts Marco Rubio in Manila, Moscow said. And that's the news. Don't forget to like, follow, and comment on our social media pages. On Facebook at Badeggi Radio 90.1 MHz-FM, on X at Badeggi 901 FM, on Instagram and on YouTube at Badeggi Radio 90.1 FM. We stream live on Radio Garden and on Radio Box at Badeggi Radio 90.1 FM. Or you can log on to badeggiradio.com to listen to us live from anywhere in the world. Abiba Yusuf and that party is the news editor, and I am Sani Abdullah. On behalf of the newsroom crew, thank you for listening. Bye.